Hi, hello, and how are you? Welcome to Virtual Storytime with the Lillooet Public Library. This week we're going to read a story and sing some songs about bunnies, rabbits, and springtime. So I have a little finger play to get us started. Here is a bunny with ears so funny, and here is his hole in the ground. At the first sound he hears, he pricks up his ears and hops in his hole in the ground. Now it's time for our story. I'm going to read this book called Bunny's Noisy Book by Margaret Wise Brown. When he first woke up in the morning.
Thank you so much for joining us, Christina, today. So you are the Children's Youth Coordinator at the Lillooet Library. Can you tell us a little bit about your position?
Yeah, thanks. So I've been the Children and Youth Program Coordinator for about a year now. We basically pre-COVID, we would have run programs more in person with like kids and youth, like doing story time with children. In the summer, we've got the summer reading club. We used to run youth night at the library, but then since COVID, we've had to kind of adjust and do some different programming. But that's basically the position that I'm in.
So I also see that you're doing virtual story time. Now I'm assuming that were you always doing virtual story time, or were you also doing story time in person?
Since I just started the position in February last year, so I was doing in-person story time for only a month and a half, and then sort of the first wave of COVID hit. So we wanted to offer something for families they could do at home since in-person stuff had all shut down. So that's why the library decided to start offering virtual story times. And I was pretty new to working in libraries as well. So I kind of had to learn, like the Vancouver Public Library does videos and some other libraries. So I kind of saw what was out there and kind of modeled the sort of structure of my program on that.
All right. So tell us a little bit about your virtual story time. When can people check it out?
Yeah, well, it's on their videos that are on YouTube. Each video is about 10 to 12 minutes or so. So they're not too long. They're kind of a nice chunk of time that they're kind of aimed for parents and caregivers with their little ones, aged sort of 2 to 8, depending on the video. Some of them are a little more, maybe like 5 to 8, and some of them are more like 2 to 4. So there's different sort of levels. But and there's new videos that we're releasing every 2 weeks now. There used to be once a week. So there's 48 videos on our playlist. And we've got sort of different themes, so you can pick a topic that you're interested in, whether it's like gardening or outer space or dinosaurs, going to school, feelings. So I've got lots of different themes on there, and it's basically like a couple of short little songs. Some of them are like action songs, and I'll read a story or two.
Nice.
And, it's meant to be sort of interactive.
Yeah.
With you could just plunk your kids in front of it, but it's some of the videos are more meant to be interactive between the parents and the kids.
Oh, that's awesome. So how do you choose the books that you read?
Honestly, I just go to our library here and I just pull stuff off the shelves randomly, or sometimes if new books come in, I'll see what's new, or sometimes I'll pick a theme first, like if it's, Christmas or something, I'll look for the Christmas themed books. And I just pick stories that I like and that are fun and go from there.
All right. And what are any other children's and youth programs virtually that you guys are offering right now?
Well, not a whole lot at this very moment. We did trial a virtual youth night doing sort of games with kids like 9 to 14, but it wasn't that popular. I think people didn't necessarily want to sort of plunk themselves down in front of a computer after going to school. So we're not doing that anymore. But we have just finished running a spring youth geocaching challenge. So
cool.
We have some prizes that we're offering, and then encouraging youth like 9 to 18 to get outside and find geocaches in the local area. And then if they can take a picture with them and send that to me, and then I'm doing the prize draw today. So that ran for the past month. It's just kind of a way to encourage people to get outside, explore the area. And so we've run that. And then during spring break, I also did a virtual baking class for kids in the sort of 9 to 14 age range. But that was sort of a one-time thing. We might do that again.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you guys are being really creative and still coming up with ideas to to connect with the community. If somebody would like to get a hold of you and ask you any questions regarding programs or books, where can they get a hold of you?
The best is probably by email. So my email is lilloetlibraryyouth@gmail.com. That's the best way, or you can also call the library itself, which is 250-256-7944.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us here on Sun Valley News.
Thanks very much for having me.